Hi guys, and welcome to a new video. Today we will learn about Pandas. So Pandas is a library which is widely used in data science. If you Google for Pandas, it will send you to a link. Yeah, this is the link, pandas.pydata.org. So this is an open source library written in Python. So it is widely used because of the types of manipulations that you can do with the data. Like we will be learning it pretty soon. So first of all, let's begin with you can drop down and change it to Markdown. So this is the header one. Shift enter will run this Jupyter notebook. So to run the Jupyter notebook, if you install Anaconda, you can just say Jupyter space, let me see, yeah, here it is. So this is your command, Jupyter space notebook. So it will start the notebook and open it in a browser. Now first things, let's import the important libraries. That's NumPy as NP and import Pandas as PD. Shift enter will run it. So if you remember from last time, we can get the random numbers dot rand n, let's say 5, 10. So this is just to show you how to get the numbers. Like this is a standard normal distribution. So if you say 5, 2, so you'll get 5, 2, right? 5 2s are 10. So 5 rows and 2 columns. This is useful because I'm going to show you how to work with Pandas using some dummy data, and for dummy data generation I'm going to use this random function. So let's seed this. If I don't seed it, every time I run this particular command, it's going to give me different answer. But now if I seed it, if I run it, let's say run it again, you can see that the values are not changed. Seven 497. Let me run it again. It should be you can concentrate on this value 7497. It should be the same value. As you see, if I don't run the seed, the random numbers will change. So that is why I've entered that. And let's begin with Pandas. So to initialize Pandas, use a variable, any variable of its choice. I'm using df, or let's start with the Panda series. So pd dot, it's a capital S series. Now open close. If you enter shift tab, you can see the options that you can pass: data, index, data type, name, copy, and for fast path. So you can explore all the values. For now I'll just say data is equal to a random integer. So this is a random set of list, and this is nothing but a Pandas series. If I save it into a value series, now get the type of it, you can see that it's a Pandas core series. How will you access the content of the series? So let's say you want to access the 0th digit. It's similar to your Python, and the good thing is your Python list doesn't have many of these functions, and Pandas just gives you a bunch of functions which you can use. So this is just an example. maximum is 4. Now moving on to the most interesting part, that is the data frame. What is a data frame? Data frame is like a matrix with rows and columns and having values. So this is a typical Excel sheet if you have seen. So most of the data sets are in that format with rows and columns. So that is why the data frames are widely used. So data frame is equal to initialize the data frame, pd dot, it's a capital D, data frame, and you have to pass the data. So how the data should be? So it should be a list of lists. Let's say you have 2 columns and 2 rows. So it's 3, 4. Now if I enter, you have this data frame to print df. So you can see that it neatly arranges in a tabular format. So looking at this, you can say whether it's a series or a data frame. So I'll change this and use np.random.rand n with, let's say, 4 rows and 5 columns. So you can see that there are 4 rows and 5 columns. There are these indexes 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's say you want to change this. Now df dot columns, enter will give you that range index. So if you want to give your custom index, I'm going to use this Python a, b, c, d and e because there are 5 columns, and I'll use split function which knows that it will return list. Now if I use df, here you go, the values are changed, or these will be the column names that you are entering, right? You can do that very well in this step itself using columns is equal to. Let's do that. So instead of writing it here, I'll say columns is equal to, and I'll delete this line. So there you go, the same result. Now what about this row indexes? So df dot row, no it is not. What about index? Yes, control enter, it's a range. How about passing the values? Now let's do the string. So let's say the small a, b, c and d dot split. Now if you enter, check the data frame, even the column rows are named, so rows and columns. Now the interesting part is how do you access the index, right? Or how do you access, let's say you want this small c, how do you do that? Or let's say you want this this particular column capital C. So the indexing is similar to Python list. So here you give the value of capital C and it will return you this particular column, all the rows of that particular column. And now if you say D, it will just go to that particular column and D row and give you that single value. What about if you want the entire row? As you can see that this will throw an error because the general intuition would have been just pass the index value and it would return this. But to in a data frame, to return a single row, you will have to use dot loc for location and not the parenthesis. You have to use the square brackets and now pass the D. You can see here this particular row is written here with capital A, B, C, D and E columns. What if you want 2 rows? You can pass another list with, let's say you want A and let's say you want D. So you got 2 rows with all the columns over here. Now you can use this LOC to return all the rows, or again you can pass only the all the columns, or you can pass just column B and column E. Column B, comma, column E. Shift enter. You can see that the row A and D are written and only column B and E are written. Now, why these data frames are so useful? You can have, if all the values are numerical values, now you can say that DataFrame.describe, and it gives you a sweet value of all the standard statistics like standard deviation for each particular column, the mean, the count, and all this percentile 50, 25, 75 and the maximum value. Also you could do df dot, let's say, count, and it returns the number of counts in each row. I forgot to tell you how to see the number of rows and columns. You can use df.shape to do this. So this is going to return a tuple. Let me just print the data frame here so that it's easier to compare. So 4 rows, so first digit is 4 rows and the second is the number of columns, so 5 columns. Now in this particular data frame, you can also do conditional operation like df greater than, let's say, 0. If I enter, you will get this data frame of boolean values with the place where they are greater than 0 is true and the rest of the places are false. Now if you want to get a sub data frame of only the values which are greater than 0, you can do this. So you have only the values where it's greater than 0, and none is basically it says that it's not a number, so this is null values because they are below 0. What if you want to get you don't want this complete data frame, rather you would want to get only, let's say, this particular condition on this particular column and get all the rows where this particular column is greater than 0. To do that, again data frame of the column name, that is capital C, and this is greater than 0. Now you can see that it's written only A, B and D row, rather than the C row is eliminated because the column C had a value less than 0. So similarly, you can chain this particular conditions by using AND operations. Now here you will see a typical error that most of the students do, and that is using this Python AND operation. Let me show you what it does. If I do this D also greater than 0, or let's not take D because all the values are negative, I'll take E greater than 0. Now this will throw us error saying the truth value of the series is ambiguous. This is because Python AND only does this, a single Boolean operation. So for data frame you will have to do a series operation, so you have to use this kind of and also make sure that it's not ambiguous, so put these in parentheses. Okay, I was talking in English, so this is your OR operation and this is your AND operation. You can see a tiny data frame that you have got with only the E greater than zeros and in C greater than zeros. So these are the interesting indexing things that you can do with the data frame. Also, I forgot to mention about the data frame dot index location. In this case, you will be passing the index values. So this is the 0th column, sorry, the 0th row, and let's say you want only the first column, so you can do this. So 0th row, the first column, the value will be, let's check it out, 0th row and the first column, that is this, because it's 0 index, so value is minus 0.668172. so this is the value. Now if I have to do data frame dot allocation, I want all the rows and only the first column or the second column. In this case I could do this. You can see that only the second column is there. Now I can also say till 4th column or the 3rd column. So this will return a data frame, so 4th column, so 2nd and 3rd column will be written the 4th value. It's the indexing that Python does, so the last, it's exclusive of the 2nd value. Similarly we can do this, so we can have from 0th till the 3rd, and there you go. So that is about index locations. I'll just check whether I have missed anything. So multi-indexing I'll be covering in the next coming chapters, and yes, reset index is one of the things that I wanted to teach you guys. So this is the data frame, right? Now the indexes are A, B, C, D. What you can do is do a reset index. There are plenty of functions that you can explore, so go ahead and explore those. So you can see that it's a bound method you are supposed to call it. Then you will get extra column called index, and your rows will be named as this particular index. So now if you look at the data frame, it will still be the same, because like most of the functions in Pandas data frame need you to specify in place if you want to do it in place. So in place equal to true will actually change the data frame. So there you go. So that's all about Pandas data frame to begin with. So I hope you guys enjoy these tutorials. Do get interested in learning, because that will take you a long way. Happy learning, guys. Thank you.